Hello, everyone. It's Josh Bersin. Here we are, almost 2 years after the big reset in March of 2019, entering 2022. And I want to give you some perspectives on the year ahead. First of all, just to recap very quickly, the last 2 years have been very interesting, complex, difficult, and challenging for everybody in the business community, especially for those of us in HR. We've been through multiple waves of the pandemic. We've come to accept flexible and remote and hybrid work. Most of you have learned a lot about resilience and human-centered leadership and flexibility. Wages have gone up, and we're now in an economy where we have a peak economic cycle, peak stock market, probably going to come down a bit next year, and way more jobs than there are people. We're not really in a talent war anymore. We're in a people war. We just don't have enough human beings to take these jobs because a third of the workforce has decided to quit this year. Roughly 4 to 4.5 million people per month are voluntarily leaving the workforce in the United States. 2/3 of them do not have another job when they leave. And they're leaving because they just want to change. They're either burned out, they have decided there's greener pastures elsewhere. They're tired of being underpaid or overworked or being in an unsafe condition, or maybe they're just questioning their life in general. And, this is going to be the theme for next year. Next year, we're going to have an even tighter labor market, more jobs that will be unfilled. It's almost 1 out of 10, 1 out of 9 jobs are unfilled, which is sort of astounding. And people will be very sensitive to your culture and your brand. And I think there's a couple reasons for this. The first is, of course, people are still fried out from the pandemic. And, the mental health industry grew by 11% last year. So they're looking for online coaching and support just to get through the day. But when things like inflation start to take place, and we have this continuous debate about political issues and the trust in government, people feel uncertain. In fact, inflation has this funny effect of making you worry if you're standing on shifting sand. When things keep getting more expensive, you're not sure what you can rely on. And so the quest for certainty and safety and a sense of value from your work is going to be even greater. During the pandemic, a lot of the engagement surveys found that the key to holding on to and engaging people was a sense of belonging and a sense of trust and a sense of patience and flexibility. I think next year it's going to be even more, in the sense that you're going to have to recruit people based on their skills. A lot of them will not have the experience you want. You'll have to train them. The increase in job postings with no experience required is 340% year over year. They're going to want to know that you're a trusted company that takes care of the environment, that takes care of the people, that invests in people. Candidates are going to want to know that you pay them well. Pay is not the number one driver of employee engagement, but it is a driver when people are looking for a job. So wages are going to go up. And they're going to want to know that your company stands for something. This idea of purpose-driven organizations is not just kind of a business thing that you kind of read about from books. It's really a tool or a strategy to attract and retain and energize your workforce. So I think culture is going to be a big topic next year as we fight for people and try to recruit and retain the people we have. Now, the second big theme is tech. The tech industry is as dynamic and as fast moving as I have ever seen. I've been in the tech industry for, 40 years. And we have virtual reality, NFTs, blockchain, crypto, AI, mobile devices that are as fast as supercomputers, video on everything, all sorts of creator tools, people giving each other tips on TikTok, creator tools and training, platforms for social learning. I mean, it's just amazing, the technology, talent intelligence systems. So you're going to have to really keep up with it. We are really pretty good at sort of showing you where things are going, but each company has its own legacy of technology. And, the cloud is not a panacea. One of the things that, I think is now coming out, something that I always felt was true, cloud system is not a nirvana systems. It's just an outsourced tech. You've just outsourced IT is what you've really done. And you've outsourced it to a company that specializes in one thing. That's fine as long as they're doing what you want. But when they're not doing what you want, you don't have as much flexibility as you do when you had the systems in-house. So people are going to start scratching their heads and wondering if they really want 3-year agreements with these big cloud companies, given the high prices. And I think there's going to be a little pushback on some of that. And you're going to have to make some serious long-term decisions about your cloud and general employee technology stack. I have tried to remind companies forever that it isn't a problem of picking the right product. It's really a roadmap and product management problem of building the right infrastructure for your company. I mean, even if you standardize on Microsoft Teams and Microsoft Viva, it doesn't do everything. You will have dozens of tools. The average large company has 70 employee systems, everything from workforce management to analytics to surveys to payroll to training to recruiting, et cetera. And so next year, you're going to see a massive refresh of technology coming out with a lot of these new technologies going mainstream, including VR. And you're going to have to put together a roadmap and decide, would you like to wait, or is it a 1-year, 2-year, 3-year journey to get to the next level of technology, to say nothing of the employee experience tools that are coming out that sit on top of a lot of the HR tech. So that'll be a big deal for next year. Third thing I want to talk about for next year is the HR function itself. I think most of you did a spectacular, really heroic job of managing through the pandemic, dealing with furloughs, rehiring, job change, remote work, safe work, back to work, hybrid work, dealing with the pay issues, dealing with the tight labor market, focusing on employee experience. But behind the scenes, I know a lot of your HR departments are kind of like the duck with the paddling underneath the water, are really running hard. And I think another thing to think about in 2022, as you read about in the report, is building the skills and capabilities of the HR function. You guys all got a seat at the table this year. There's no excuses. Most of you were sitting at the table with the CEO and other senior execs talking about all these talent issues. So it's now okay to invest in your function, in cross-training and developing and rotating people into and out of HR, build it using our capability model to assess the strengths and weaknesses of your HR team and giving them access to tools like our academy, investing in third-party research and tools and events and experiences for your HR team so that they can keep up, benchmarking yourself against other companies. You're going to be leading the charge to grow through an inflationary, very constrained labor market next year. And so you're going to need a great team all over the company for everything, including talent mobility and internal talent marketplace, but also for recruiting. Recruiters, despite the use of AI and all the automation, are still critically important jobs in companies. In fact, they may be the most important job, because if you don't recruit the right people into the company, it doesn't matter what else you do. So investing in taking care of them and the business partners that support them is a big area for next year. The final thing I want to just touch on as we come back to the tail end of the pandemic next year is this sense of trust. And I've talked about trust a lot. In the beginning of the pandemic, we were dealing with the Trump administration, all of the arguing and fighting in the US political system and other parts of the world about elections, and we're still dealing with it. I think the citizen level trust in the American society is pretty low from where I sit. It's not a crisis yet, but it could be. And that, coupled with the sense of employee angst about the home situation and the life situation in our lives, means that companies have to become trusted agents. I think it's sort of astounding that 3 billionaires, trillionaires, decided to fire themselves up into space last year for fun, I guess, while we have homelessness, income inequality, infrastructure problems, and many, many other things to deal with. That, to me, does not create a sense of trust. A sense of trust means that your company stands for something, that you're doing something that people believe is of value to society and to their communities and to them as individuals and families, that you can redefine your company's mission around some greater purpose. And you can do that. I mean, every company that's ever been created started with a mission, with a vision, with a purpose, and it drifted off into make more money and grow the stock price. You can get back to that. And I think in an uncertain environment like we're going to have next year, where the economy is growing and we have inflation, higher interest rates, and the lingering pandemic, a sense of trust will buy you a huge amount of value with employees, with stakeholders, with shareholders, and with customers. And trust means three things. It means being clarity of purpose, first of all. It means being competent at what you do, making sure your company and your HR team is run well. It means being ethical and fair and transparent and taking care of people and respecting everyone for their individuality. And it means listening. It means always paying attention to the employees in particular. The employees in a company are the most vested stakeholders. They can't leave. Customers can change. They don't have to buy from you. They can buy from somebody else. But employees live with your company. When they have opinions or feedback or frustrations or suggestions, you should listen to them. Those are the things that create trust. So listen, I'm really excited about next year. I'm excited every year. I think we're going to have a really exciting, positive year. I think the pandemic's going to sort of drift away. We're going to spend more time together. We're going to go to some events. We'll be coming back into the office, learning how to go back to the hybrid new world of work, coupled with the old world of work, using all the technology that we adopted during the pandemic. But it's going to be a challenge for HR. I know you guys are up for this. I know you have it in you. You've done it for 2 years. We will be here to support you. We have some amazing things coming out next year. We're having a research conference the third week in May called Irresistible. My book will be published in May. We have a whole new line of research we'll be talking about in Q1. And lots of studies on talent acquisition, learning, talent mobility, leadership development, tech, and many, many more things to come. So stick with us, and I hope you learn a little bit from the predictions report, and have a great year and a great holiday, and we'll talk to you all in the coming months. Thank you.